Hi there. Is Janine June's twin? Let me explain. Tonight we're going to discuss whether or not Janine is June's doppelganger, aka evil twin, aka motif of a double, aka no effing way. Though there are many examples of the doubles motif throughout the text of the novel, today we are going to examine the scene in Season 4, Episode 4 of the Hulu series based on Margaret Atwood's novel, The Handmaid's Tale. More specifically, we're going to discuss the scene where June and Janine are in a train car full of milk, hoping to escape to Chicago to join the MayDay resistance. Now, we're all crazy about The Handmaid's Tale. If not, why are you here? But let me ask you this. Does Janine's character have a deeper meaning? As a big fan of the series, I was wondering about the symbolism in The Handmaid's Tale, and I happened along an online lecture by Mrs. A.B. Literature. Along with symbolism throughout the text, she also gives examples of motifs. The motif she mentions in The Handmaid's Tale is of Janine being June's doppelganger. So I'm going to discuss and give a brief explanation of the motif of doubles. We're going to give a literary and a film example. We're going to discuss the exact characteristics of a doubles motif and give evidence to support the theory that June is Janine's doppelganger in this specific scene. It's proven throughout the text, but I'm talking about this scene. So what is a motif of doubles? Well, according to ePublications, marquette.edu, doubling refers to a multiplication of two, like when they're all walking together, such as when two or more characters parallel each other in action or personality. It can also mean internal doubling or division within the self to exhibit a duality of character. They go further into detail defining doubles, but for the sake of this video, I am just going to stick to their main point. Some examples of motifs, specifically doubles motifs in literature and film. First is the Gothic novel by Scottish author Robert Louis Stevenson, and it is The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde. This is a pretty well-known one and one that I think is an easy concept to understand. Another example of this motif is represented by Hitchcock's films. In an article written by Elisa Hawkinsmith, she says Hitchcock's film, Spellbound, is a perfect example. She also says his use of the double creates a psychological experience by allowing the audience to picture themselves as the characters. So what are the characteristics? When we talk about this, there are a lot of characteristics of the double, and we're going to touch on a few of them. But again, we're going to narrow it down because we are specifically talking about the examples that we will refer to in the milk scene. That's what I call it. From episode 4, season 4, Handmaid's Tale Hulu series. Watch it if you're not missing out. So, what are some of the characteristics of the doubles motif? There has to be splitting. When duality is represented throughout a story, there has to be an incident of splitting. This refers to when the reader or viewer sees a visual separation or a splitting from the protagonist and the other character, either separating as people, kind of like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or separating in their ideas. Another characteristic is that they cannot coexist peacefully, which may mean I'm a lot of people's doubles in real life. The mere presence of the double causes divergence. Perhaps one character causes the other to question their motives or even their beliefs. The conflict can be a double causing the other to question their morals as well. So, another characteristic that occurs in the double's motif is the embodiment of characteristics. It means that either the original character either desires to have the characteristics of their double, or it's a concentration of their worst characteristics. Again, think of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, evil, good. He's the worst evil part of my whole, and he's the best good part of my whole. The last characteristic, and when, pardon me, I cannot read my script here. It's the one mentioned with Alfred Hitchcock. So while watching or reading the story, you as the audience can see yourself as the characters. But JC, I really have never been in a train car racing to hopeful safety drenched in milk. I understand. I'll explain. The analysis. The evidence to support how Janine is in fact June's twin, aka a doppelganger, aka representation of a double's motif, aka evil twin, aka okay, I'll stop. It's stated above that there are certain qualities that have to be present to be considered a double's motif. They were splitting, no peaceful existence, embodiment of characteristics, and the psychological experience of seeing yourselves in the characters. And again, I hear you. You haven't been barreling down in a train car of milk, sloshing around in the breast milk of beef patties. But again, I'll explain. So the splitting, there's got to be an example of that, right? All right, cool. 2 examples. The visuals. While June and Janine are having their very heated discussion on whether or not the cows who produced the milk for which they were swimming were treated humanely, I don't think that happened. By the way, it was actually watered down vanilla soft serve ice cream. Yeah, I read that on the interwebs. So while they were having the heated disagreement, the camera only shows one of the women speaking at a time. From that point of discussion, you do not see both of them in the same shot at one time. And I understand that while they were jumping in and out, and before they really got into that hardcore conversation, you could see them both in the same shot, but we're talking about when they kind of go at it. You really only see June's face and then Janine's face. June's face, Janine's face. June, Janine, June, Janine. And I kind of happen to wonder if them having the same first initial of their name is a coincidence. I don't think Margaret Atwood believes in coincidences. I don't really know, but I'm pretty sure she doesn't. And I think I'm correct on that one. Again, no fact checking needed. Just believe me. So conflict was another characteristic, all right? Besides being chilly, remembering their dead friends, and not knowing where the heck they are going, there's other conflict between June and Janine. June straight up tells Janine that she should have left her a long time ago. And if this is not a great example of not being able to coexist, I don't know what examples you have, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be more absurd than mine. And Janine's words cause conflict by making June question her morals and beliefs. Remember, I mentioned that earlier, pointing up above because it's up above in my writing, but it's no one's floating up there, no words. It's kind of strange there, JC. So they argue about the way in which God operates. Janine says they were the nicest, Alma and Brianna, and maybe that's why. And June was like, oh yeah? What do you mean? Why what? And Jean responded, "Why, God wanted them and not us. Well, at least not you." Which I also think goes back to being a characteristic of splitting, because Janine was like, okay, he didn't want us. Oh, just kidding, he didn't want you. We were together. Splitting up from you, buddy. Heaven calls, I'm going up. You can stay here. Not my problem. Not my problem. So the next feature is the embodiment of characteristics. Well, when did that happen? I'll tell you. June wishes she could be more optimistic like Janine. Even the optimism and tenacity that Janine vocalizes for being able to do something smarter than June when they're referencing Hannah's safety being taunted in front of her. I think that June kind of believes deep down that she really could have followed through. She could have continued to be tortured, but she knows that she kind of gave up on that, so to speak. I'm saying what I think June feels, not that I don't think she shouldn't have given up. I have kids, I get it. But Janine was kind of flaunting into her face, kind of like saying, you had it in you and you gave up. And I wouldn't have. And I think June resents that. So the embodiment of characteristics is also seen when Janine brings up June's impulsive actions. She points out that June lacks the kind of forethought on how her actions affect others, like so many other women, the Marthas and the handmaids who have died while fighting June's fight. And then lastly, the final characteristic of the double motif, the psychological experience. It's easy to see yourself as one of the characters when you imagine any time you've ever doubted yourself. When we have this inner dialogue, we question our motives, we invoke self-doubt, we beat ourselves up for making the wrong choice, we beat ourselves up for not being able to foresee the outcome of a tragic event or a life-altering event. And I think we have all done the shoulda, woulda, coulda's, and my therapist totally tells me not to shit all over myself, and I am working on that. But that is how we are able to experience and resonate with June and Janine while watching their characters in this dialogue. We've all had these conversations with ourselves, and we have all tried to outrun the inevitable that is facing ourselves. If we watch the scene with this in mind, it's easy to see June and Janine trying to, and perhaps even literally so, attempting to outrun the difficult conversation of facing yourself. I really have never done this. Have you? Of course I have. See, that's me trying to admit that I have not faced myself, and bam, I'm smack dab in the middle of feeling exactly how June and Janine are. I'm avoiding the truth. So that begs the question, who were they trying to outrun? The eyes or themselves? So to wrap this bad boy up, we've talked about the question of whether June and Janine are doppelgangers. We've also discussed the definition of the motif of doubles. I've given you 2 examples of doubles motif in literature and in film, and we've discussed the analysis and the evidence for the milk scene, season 4, episode 4 of The Handmaid's Tale being a representation for the motif of doubles. So after hearing this, do you agree that June and Janine are each other's doubles? I also may have another example that occurs in episode 5 of season 4. It's with Aunt Lydia. She has a double reflection in the mirror when she goes to discuss hot topics, shall I say, with Commander Lawrence. This one could be a stretch. I'll have to really dive or delve, which is the word. I don't know. Why are you listening to me? Words? I don't know them. That sounds like an owl, perhaps, getting his breakfast. Um, I don't know. I'm just saying, that's what I see. What do you think? And again, do you think that June and Janine in the milk scene are each other's doppelganger? I do. And whatever you agree with, you're right. And whatever I say that you disagree with, you're wrong. So we are each other's twin. And it just circle of life. You know what I mean? Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if so, please consider clicking the like button and subscribing. And share this video with a few of your fellow Handmaid's Tale friends. I would love for you to be part of the discussion, and feel free to leave your thoughts and theories in the comment section below. Did you notice any of the examples given today? Do you want me to stop talking? Just leave your 2 cents in the comments down below. And if you were watching this to provide entertainment while you did your business, well, I hope everything came out okay. And thank you again for watching.